Alright, back with another video for you today. Today I'm talking about Francois Demachy, the former in-house perfumer at Dior. Or maybe he's still perfumer and hasn't left yet, but we know that Francis Kurkdjian is replacing Francois Demachy as the in-house perfumer for Christian Dior, Dior fragrances. And today I'm talking about 10 fragrances, 10 of my favorite fragrances created by Francois Demachy over at Dior. These I'm talking about men's fragrances and unisex fragrances. So if you want to find out what they are, and this is a ranked video, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian, and yes, I'm back with another video for you today discussing the fragrances that Francois Demachy created at Dior, my favorite men's fragrances, and of course, unisex fragrances from the Privé collection. I've got 10 of them here, all ranked, and I've got 2 bonuses after the outro, so stick around to find out what those are. But you know, I have to be honest, there's not a lot of non-Privés here. There's 4. But again, men's fragrances for the signature fragrances, and then of course lots of Privé fragrances. But I'll let you know what they are before I do though. If this is your first time tuning in and you still haven't subscribed, please do click that subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So let's jump right into this. First fragrance is a men's targeted signature line fragrance. But before I let you know what that is, let me know if you're a fan of Francois Demachy. And even though we've complained a lot about this perfumer, I've been doing a lot of research to put my notes together for this video. And I've noticed he's done a lot of great stuff. He's done fragrances for Chanel. He's done fragrances for Givenchy. And he's done a lot of other brands as well. I don't know how long he did perfumes here at Dior, but I'm thinking probably a good 10 years. But one of the fragrances that I really wanted to pick up from Dior that Francois Demachy created was Midnight Rose. That is a feminine targeted fragrance, but it is very unisex. I've smelled it. I've almost bought it, never did. I was very early on in my journey here. I wish I did because it was a patchouli and rose combo. Anyway, but he's done a lot of great work, although as I said, we've been complaining a lot about his creations. But when you look at the catalog, there's some good stuff there, and I'm going to let you know what they are. So let's start with number 10. It's a Sauvage Elixir, the latest fragrance. And before I move forward with this one, he did a lot of great fragrances this year. I mean, there's 3 fragrances on this list, all launched in 2021. So go figure, like I guess he pretty much did his best creations this year. No, he's done other stuff, but Sauvage Elixir is here because I felt like it deserved to be mentioned, at least one of the versions, and I'm featuring Elixir here because Elixir, I think, is the most luxury version of Sauvage. Again, we're not breaking any new ground with this particular fragrance. It's been done over and over again, and to me, the Elixir version is not even, I mean, the idea is similar to the original, but there's no ambroxan here. It's more of an amber woody base. But with the original, I'm getting that ambroxan touch that I don't get with this one. But you do end up into a kind of a amber woody experience with this particular fragrance, which is really great. I really enjoy wearing it. It's more like a dumb reach fragrance, but a really great luxury version of the fragrance. It is definitely the priciest at $160 some for a 60 ml bottle. Very concentrated. And then we've got, you know, the original Eau de Toilette, we've got the Eau de Parfum, we've got the Parfum, and now we've got the Elixir. But this one features notes of grapefruit with spices such as cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, along with lavender, vanillic, coumarin, vetiver, licorice, and patchouli. It smells great. I like that little licorice-y touch, which also appeared in the Eau de Parfum, but it's a little stronger here in the Elixir, and I quite like it. Either way, number 10, Dior Sauvage Elixir will start things off. Going to number 9, and even though This is definitely not a groundbreaking fragrance. I think he did a great job with it. And it's a recognizable smell that I really, really like. At number 9, from the Dior Privé collection, Purple Oud, launched in 2018. And again, this one, to me, it reminds me of a fusion of Lalique Encre Noire along with something like Gucci Guilty Absolute Pour Homme. So the fragrances do remind me of those two fragrances kind of married together, kind of mixed and then spit out with this. So there's not a lot of originality with this fragrance, but in the end, it's a really, really great woody, spicy experience that I really, really like. So the Dior website credits oud, saffron, pink pepper, oranges. But for me, I also get the leathery touches and also the vetiver touches. But in the end, it's a great wearing experience. It smells really, really fantastic. And if you like the idea of oud, more of a Western oud kind of a smell, and you like things like Tom Ford's Oud Wood and things like that, definitely one for you to try. But definitely Purple Oud is really, really great. Oud Rosewood, on the other hand, was another fragrance I could have featured here, but I don't care for it as much as I like Purple Oud. And so it's here at number 9. Let me know if you're a fan of it. Let me also know, do you get the similarities of this one? Does it remind you of Encre Noire? Does it remind you of Gucci Guilty Absolute Pour Homme? Please put a comment down so I know. I get them. I get those reminders. It reminds me of both of those fragrances. And as I said, kind of like those fragrances mixed together and spit out as Purple Oud. Anyway, Dior Purple Oud at number 9. So at number 8, going to Dior, a Balade Sauvage, this one right here. So this one, I think Francois Demachy did a great job with this one. It's a unique take on a fig fragrance. This is launched in 2018, but it's a unique take on a fig fragrance. And you know, all the time fig fragrances go into that kind of similar direction, kind of green camphoric experience, whereas here it's very minerally and ozonic and kind of like atmospheric in a little way and smelling of earth kind of a thing, if that makes sense. Still, you have the fig note in here, the fig tree, maybe a little bit of a fig fruitiness, but it's like taking that smell, combining it with the sea, minerals, atmosphere, ozone, all of that together to give you this very unique fig fragrance experience. I really, really love this one. But you know, it ended up at number 8 because the other ones I enjoy a little more. But as a great fig fragrance, you should definitely check this out. But this is ozonic notes, sea notes, solar notes, fig tree, fig fruit, petitgrain, stone, labdanum, peach, and hedione. So there are light fruity touches. There are definitely floral touches. But in the end, it's the ozone, it's the sea, it's the earth, it's the environment. All of it combined together with the figs, which is a really, really great fragrance. So Balade Sauvage at number 8. I think it's a great, great creation by Francois Demachy. So the next one at number 7, launched again in 2018. It's SANTAL Noire, this one right here. So SANTAL Noire launched as an exclusive fragrance to the Middle East. I think it launched, around 2018. And I actually was taking a trip to the UK in 2018, December 2019, January. So I saw this fragrance selling in the UK at Harrods and places like that. So I was happy to end up getting a bottle then. And I really, really like this one. But I do have to say, it does remind me of something like Egoiste from Chanel, which Francois Demachy worked on with Olivier. Is it Olivier? No, it's Jacques Polge when they worked together there at Chanel. So it does have that reminder of Egoiste, but a more luxury, a little more oomphy version of that fragrance because Egoiste has been, you know, gone through the reformulation so much that it seems a little watered down. But SANTAL Noire is available other places now, thankfully. And it is a great, great musky fragrance with lots of sandalwood, lots of ambrette, and Turkish rose as notes. But you know, in here you get light booziness, a little medicinal touches, lots of musk, and then of course a little bit of a fruitiness in there as well. All to create this beautiful sandalwoody fragrance, dark sandalwood, but not creamy necessarily. But also not necessarily dry, so it's kind of like a creamy and dry together to give you just, you know, straightforward woody kind of an experience with lots of ambrette. Ambrette is a great note. I really love Ambrette as a note, and I have a whole video on the channel on this particular note if you want to find out more about it. And it's definitely used here, and with this Ambrette note you get the kind of booziness, the medicinal smelling muskiness, and then of course the fruitiness. But a great scent. I think he did a great job with this one, and I think he was kind of getting back at the fact that maybe he worked on something at Chanel and he wanted to kind of like reminisce or something to kind of like bring back memories of his days when he created Egoiste for Chanel. Either way, Santal Noir, let me know if you guys get the similarities to Egoiste. Again, it's a reminder. It's not necessarily identical, but it reminds me of Chanel's Egoiste, the original, not the platinum, but the original. Either way, Santal Noir at number 7. Oh boy, going to 2021 again, and here, this is Dior's Tobacolor, this one right here. Who knows this one? I've done a few videos on this particular fragrance, one a review on its own, and then I also did a kind of a comparison thing with Dior's Vanilla Diorama, which is also on this list, also launched in 2021. But Dior's Tobacolor is a great tobacco fragrance. It is definitely a Dior style, but warm and gooey, syrupy, lightly fruity, definitely smoky, ashy, honeyed experience. Wonderful stuff. But it's at number 6 because I like other fragrances a little more. And it's interesting, Vanilla Diorama is going to come up very soon. Originally, when I first got this, and then I got Vanilla Diorama because they came out released one after another within a couple of months apart. I was really digging this one, but Vanilla Diorama, on the other hand, has really become a favorite fragrance. Really love the way that fragrance smells. It's just, vanilla is one of my favorite notes, and I absolutely love it, and it just focuses on that vanilla note. So this has slipped a little bit, but still, it's a great tobacco fragrance. Launched in 2021, as I said, created by Francois Demachy. Features honey, tobacco, plums, smoke, peach. But I get not only the smoked ashy tobacco, but a little bit of a leafiness as well. There's a little bit of a grassy, leafy kind of an experience in there with its earthiness. So I do get that a little bit here, but definitely you experience the ashiness. Maybe it's coming from the smoke that's featured here as a note, but definitely it's like burnt tobacco contrasted with honey, with the fruits and the smoke as well. It's very ambery, it's sweet, but not necessarily ultra sweet. It's not as sweet as Vanilla Diorama, but really a great fragrance. And it's interesting because Francois Demachy has created a lot of fragrances in the Privé collection, and I think he did some of his best work in 2021. Either way, Tobacolor, number 6. So can you guess my number 5? So my number 5 favorite fragrance that was created by Francois Demachy for the house of Dior is Fahrenheit Le Parfum, this one right here. So this fragrance, it's interesting. I traveled to France a lot, although not since the pandemic started. I was in France December 2013 and January 2014. The day before I was supposed to fly back, I was at the Galeries Lafayette. They had just put this fragrance out. At that time, it was called Le Parfum. I think now it's just called Parfum. They had just put that fragrance out, and I didn't know it was launching, and I got it. And I mean, I not got it, but I was at this department store, Galeries Lafayette. I smelled it, and it was an instant love because it was such a unique version of Fahrenheit that I really like. The vanilla in here is really delicious. So that was an instant love for a fragrance, not only because of the vanillic contrast to the watery ozonic touches, which is what is here, but just a really intense experience and a new take on the original Fahrenheit from the late 80s. So he did a great job with this one. Absolutely love this one. It's a great fragrance featuring lots of vanilla. It's a bourbon vanilla, like a boozy vanilla, with violet leaves, suede leather, rum, licorice, mandarin orange, coriander. So you do experience the leatheriness. So anyway, in comparison to the original Fahrenheit, which was beastly kind of when it first came out, it was dark. It was kind of like petrol, gasoline kind of smelling, leather, all that good stuff. Now it's just a very, very light and lightened up, watered down version. You don't even get the kind of like petrol gas thing in that fragrance anymore. It's a lot easier to wear, but it's just so watered down that this was a really kind of like a breath of fresh air and a great version to have. But again, it was so different than the original, and also very, very unisex. This particular version is so unisex, I think a woman can totally pull off. Really great fragrance to wear, and it deserves the number 5 spot. I'm glad they have this. I hope they don't discontinue it. Although what happens with age is, you know, people get tired of it, and the fans die out and things like that, and they will discontinue it. But I think it's a great version of Fahrenheit, totally different than the original, whereas the original in its original form was very, very masculine. Here we have a very unisex take on Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit Le Parfum, or Parfum, from 2014 is at number 5. Roll back 2 years, another fragrance that Francois Demachy created that I absolutely fell in love with. This was around the time I was just starting to do YouTube videos for fragrances, 2012, and this version of Dior Eau Sauvage came out. I ordered it. It was like, I didn't have a lot of budget for fragrances then, and it was all saved up for other hobbies and other things, so I spent a lot of money getting that fragrance, Eau Sauvage, the original 2012 version, and I was in heaven with the way it smelled. Either way, I've got the 2017 version here. At number 4, it's Dior Eau Sauvage Parfum. Originally launched in 2012, then relaunched in 2017. I don't know why they did that. I'm not 100% sure why, but I like this version as well. The original is a lot better for me, but still, this one definitely still is up there with its concentration and heftiness and its richness. Definitely kind of borrowing from the original Eau Sauvage and taking it to a more richer direction, but the original version features myrrh, vetiver, bergamot, lavender, patchouli, oak moss, hedione, citron, petitgrain. So basically it focused on this resin of myrrh, the vetiver, kind of like the grassy, earthy, damp smelling vetiver, woody as well, along with the bergamot. Then you throw in some patchouli, lavender, and things like that. This particular version, it is a little lighter, not as intense as the original 2012, but still it smells great. Lots more intense than the original Eau Sauvage, and a great smelling fragrance that I really, really love. I really love this one. You know, it was a toss-up too between Fahrenheit Parfum. Sometimes I like Fahrenheit Parfum so much, then I stopped wearing this one. Today, I'm feeling like this one deserves the number 4 spot, so here it is. So Eau Sauvage Parfum from Dior, launched originally in 2012, then relaunched in 2017, is at number 4. And then number 3 is the fragrance that was launched in 2021, another fragrance launched in 2021. It's Dior Vanilla Diorama. This has become such a great smelling fragrance, although it was always the same. It's just, when I got it, I was like, yeah, it's a vanilla, but the more I wear it, the more I love it. And this is a brand new bottle. The other one is no longer here. It was gifted. It was gifted to a family member. But this particular one, Vanilla Diorama, is all about vanilla and inspired by a cake that Christian Dior used to eat at Maxime's, according to my research and my notes. So the chocolate, I think it was an ice cream cake with chocolate. So there is a little bit of a chocolatey touch here, but it's citrusy and spicy, lots of vanilla. It's a little boozy with, you know, some chocolate touches as well, but features lemons, oranges, pink pepper, cardamom, bourbon, vanilla, rum, cocoa, sandalwood, patchouli. This particular fragrance kind of hints a little bit, not a lot, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit at Le Lion from Chanel. So there's also a little bit of a hint at something like Shalimar from Guerlain, but in the end, it's its own unique thing. It's a great inspiration for that ice cream cake or cake that Christian Dior had, and it's wonderful, wonderful citrusy take on vanilla. Very, very sweet, vanillic, ambery, a little resinous, but a very boozy, but a very, very delicious concoction. Perfect fragrance to wear in the autumn season and the winter as well. I think this is very, very cozy and one of my favorite creations by Francois Demachy for the House of Christian Dior. Either way, Vanilla Diorama, a lovely, lovely fragrance from Dior, launched in 2021. Can you guess my number 2 and number 1? Well, I originally thought that I was going to put Vanilla Diorama at number 2, but I looked and smelled and discussed to myself, you know, what am I going to do? Why do I want to do that? Then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to put Vanilla Diorama at number 3, and I'm going to put at number 2 Feve Delicieuse. It's really, really a delicious fragrance. It's been around a lot longer. I'm glad it's still around. A great tonka bean gourmand. Very, very nutty, bitter, sweet. Cacao, lavender, all of that stuff comes to mind here with this one, and you can experience all those notes, and I think it definitely deserves a number 2 spot. So Dior Feve Delicieuse is at number 2. It was initially launched in 2015, then relaunched in 2018 when they redid the collection for some odd reason, launching a bunch of new fragrances. So they redid all of the other, the former or the past fragrances. So same perfumer, obviously, Francois Demachy launched this one, but it's still really one of my favorite Dior creations. Really a delicious experience. It's lots of kind of almondy nuttiness with the tonka beans, bitter touches, but contrasted with the vanilla, so it's sweetened up. And of course there's caramel, there's dark chocolate, a little light fruitiness, and of course benzoin or resinous sweet vanillic touches, a little leather, a little lavender. And when I smell the lavender in here, it kind of takes me into a little bit of a, you know, an amber fougere direction. A little bit, not too much, because the lavender is not too strong. But an overall beautiful, gorgeous creation. It smells wonderful, and I absolutely love the way it smells. So, so good. So good. I can totally, I mean, it's just one of those kind of great orgasmic kind of smells. Either way, Feve Delicieuse at number 2 definitely deserves the number 2 spot. But what's my number 1? Okay, you guys know this one. This is Dior Homme Parfum, and the best fragrance that Francois Demachy has created in my book, and the best designer fragrance to this day. I mean, there's nothing ever that has been launched since this launched that has even come close to smelling as good as this one. It's absolutely fantastic the way it smells. This is the 100 ml 2020 version. The original is even better than this. They're very close, but I do see some differences, and I really, really love the original. Really love it. And you know, if I can only have the current 100 ml version, I'm fine with it. If you can only get that, get it, because it's the best designer fragrance ever to this day. Really a great intense experience that absolutely smells fantastic. But what's the deal with this one? It's about iris, obviously, and you know, it's the original Dior Homme that came out, well, first it came out in 2007, then relaunched in 2011 or 2013, somewhere around there, and then you know, this came out in 2014. I think the second version of Dior Homme was from 2011. I just did a video about it. But Dior Homme Parfum came out in 2014, and it's been a love of mine for ever since it came out, because it never launched here in the States, and I've brought back so many bottles with me from Europe and things like that. And people really go gaga over this one because they know it's the absolute most amazing designer fragrance out there to this day. But the cool thing about this one is it's taking the original Dior Homme, amplifying it, intensifying it. But for me, it's more of the Dior Homme Intense experience rather than Dior Homme. Yes, Dior Homme is the original, then they intensified it with Dior Homme Intense, and then they further intensified it with the Dior Homme Parfum. It's loads of iris, loads of leather with sandalwood, ambrette, oud, rose, cedar, and orange. Just imagine when you were a little kid and you went through your mom's purse and you took out the lipstick and kind of smeared it all over that leather purse, and you got that lipstick smell contrasted with the leather smell of the purse. That's kind of what you get with this one. It is absolutely the sexiest fragrance ever. I don't know, will there ever be something as good as this in the designer world? Let's see. But up to this day, since 2014, nothing has even come close to smelling as good as Dior Homme Parfum. Awesome fragrance created by Francois Demachy. That's why it deserves the number 1 spot. Anyway, Dior Homme Parfum, number 1. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video of my top 10 favorite fragrances created by Francois Demachy for the House of Christian Dior. He is no longer with the company. I'm not 100% sure if he's left yet, but he's leaving for sure if he hasn't left yet, because Francis Kurkdjian is taking his place. if he hasn't yet. But I do have a video also of Francis Christian's favorite fragrances. Not his favorite fragrances. My favorite fragrances created by Francis Christian. You can go catch that video as well. Let's see what happens with the Dior house. What fragrances will come soon? We shall see. I hope they're good. I hope they're really, really good. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I've got, you know, like, I'm thinking that Francis Christian will do a great job with some original new offerings. We shall see. Either way, guys, let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. How would you rank this top 10 list? Put a comment down so I can find out. At least put down your top 3 or your top 5. Let me know what it would be just with the fragrances I featured in this video today. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So 2 more fragrances for you. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is Rouge Trafalgar. He did create this one. Francois Demachy, I believe he did create this one because he was an in-house perfumer when this launched in late 2019, early 2020. But I couldn't find his name attached to it, but most likely he did this one and somebody else couldn't have done it. But I like this one because it's very, very juicy and fruity, and also kind of contrasted with kind of like greenish notes and patchouli, so earthy sparkliness as well. But it's blackcurrant, raspberry, strawberry, musk, grapefruit, cherry, mandarin orange, patchouli. Wonderful, wonderful fragrance. Very, very fresh and musky and lots of fruitiness. It's perfect to wear if you like it fruity. So Rouge Trafalgar, a great scent from the house of Christian Dior. And then the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is La Colle Noire. It's a great rose fragrance that Francois Demachy has created. If you like a watery rose, dewy, drippy, wet, you know, rained after rose, this is definitely one you should try. Black glue is what it translates to, La Colle Noire, but it's the name of the house, I think a Christian Dior's house in the south of France. But this one features notes of rose, raspberry, peony, lily of the valley, blackcurrant, musk, oud, honey, sandalwood, lemon, peach, amberwood. Did I mention rose? Yes, there's rose in here because it's all about rose. It's a very, very rosy fragrance, and it kind of reminds me of Rose de Vence from the house of Louis Vuitton. And the thing is, they both launched in 2016, so maybe they worked side by side, because I've heard both Francois Demachy and also Jacques Cavalli of Louis Vuitton fragrances have offices side by side. But either way, they have minor differences. But the main important thing about this particular fragrance is it's a wet, dewy rose, very fresh, a little aquatic, lightly fruity, and floral. Definitely check that out. La Colle Noire from the house of Dior. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.